Okay, good morning, everyone. And just getting set up here, give me a second. And if anybody would like to join us live, you can just go to zoomclaude.com. Today is Role Play Wednesday. And let me just get onto my little Zoom here. And good. Hey, how's everybody doing? Sorry about that technical setup there. I'd love to know if you guys can hear me okay, because I'm the first one on. My name is Claude Diamond, and if you've never heard of me, a lot of people haven't. I love sales. I think sales is the $1 million skill. I've written several books on success. Just happen to have them handy here. It's not a commercial. My first book was The Mentor Teaches Success, because I believe in mentoring. I had a great mentor. I still do. I think it's my wife. Hang around people who are smarter than you, who are wealthier than you, and who do things better than you, and you'll learn from them. You'll gravitate to their level of expertise because you're in that sphere of influence. So this was my first book here. This was my next book, and these are novels, by the way. And they're on my webpage, claudediamond.com. And if you want it for free, give me a call after this broadcast, 619-206-5960. I'll send you an excerpt for free so you can see if you like it first. Here's my second book, The GUTS Sales Mentor. The Mentor Teaches the GUTS Sales Method. And this was also a story, a novel. It's a rags to riches story, basically, where this poor guy, this schnook, basically, he's broke. Can't make any money, is getting desperate, has a family and all the responsibilities that many of us have in life, and has a horrible job with an even worse boss. And he meets this sweet old guy called the Mentor, who belongs to this little secret society of mentors. And basically, he teaches him how to sell. And he takes him on a worldwide trip, and he introduces him to his other students and stuff. And he teaches him the principles of success. Nathan Piles, thanks for joining. If you want to come on live and if you want to do a role play, today is Role Play Wednesday. And if you want to join in, that'd be great. You have to unmute yourself and turn on your camera. That's so hard to do. And the book basically that I'm talking about today is, Nathan, I guess I scared him. Basically is about learning the superpower skills of sales. Sales to me is that $1 million skill. It is the skill. I think we've lost it. I think we're so dependent on these devices for communicating. And majority of my students are in real estate. I'd say about half of them are in real estate. The other half are in insurance, financial services. We have lawyers. We have all kinds of doctors. We have all kinds of people who want to be better communicators, who want to make more money. You want to know how to make more money? You want to know my success story? I live a pretty good life. I am debt-free, mortgage-free. My kids had no college debt. I got a great health plan. We pay for it. Things like that. And it came through sales skills. Knowing the art and science of persuasion, basically. How do you get people to say yes? How do you get people to like and trust you? So
in San Diego.
Oops.
Sorry, I was a little late here. I had to run to the freezer.
I'm turning on my
interesting beer I'm going to be talking about.
I'm turning on my own iPhone here. Sales is, to me, if you can sell, and you have a good product or service, or work for a good company that pays you fairly, and you can be the top, you can be what I call a 1%er. If you can do that, you have a license to make as much money as you want. Another book I wrote a lot of books. I like to write. I'm no Stephen King. I wish I was. God, isn't he great? I'm a big Stephen King fan. The one book, 11/23/63. What is it, Claudia? 11/24/63. 11/23/64. Stephen King book. Guy goes back into a time portal to stop the Kennedy assassination. It's one of my favorite books. Another one of my favorite books, How to Sell with Guts. And this is basically the system I developed, a simple 3-step system. You don't have to walk on hot coals or anything. You have to learn how to ask questions. You have to learn how to be conversational with people. That to me is the real key. Can you talk? Can you start a conversation with people? Can you follow up? I think we have too many gurus. You guys, I'm going to get, I'm kind of your unwoke sales trainer, okay? Only reason is I want to tell you the truth as I know it, and I want you to make a lot of money, okay? And let me just check my phone here, make sure my sound is coming through. Can you start a conversation? There we are. We're live on YouTube and other places too. And the thing about it is, I think we have too many gurus saying, well, you got to email people. We call that spam. You've got to have robo-dialers and recorded messages, or people with bad accents calling you up at dinner time. We can text people like crazy and wait for a response. And that actually works in some industries, okay, as long as they're not violating the do not call list. My premise for sales is, can I give enough free content, enough compelling information, so someone says, hey, I want to call up Claude, 619-206-5960. I want to call him up. I want to see how to sell and think and act and sound like $1 million salesperson. How to learn a system. Most people are just winging it, and that's their biggest problem. They're just winging it. And you got to have how do they build cars? They build cars on an assembly line. They used to build them piece by piece in the old days, and they cost a fortune and nobody could afford them. They put them on an assembly line. Henry Ford utilized the idea of the assembly line, and all of a sudden cars cost a lot less and people could afford them. And part of the American Industrial Revolution, if you will, on there. Let's see if we have any messages here. Okay. And to me, everything changed in my life. I've had corporate jobs. I've started other businesses, but everything changed when I learned from my mentor how to sell, how to give good phone, how to have 3 steps in the system. And I'll just show them here to you quickly. Agenda, qualification, and close. GUTS is a question-based system. It's learning how to be basically charismatic. How do you get people to like you and trust you? You're in a competitive world. I always say this. You have a couple problems out there for most salespeople. You're getting people giving you bad information and telling you to use scripts. If you're taking notes, number 1, scripts suck. Don't use scripts. Scripts are no good. Why? Because that's what your competition does. And ask yourself this question, reverse engineer things all the time, and ask yourself, what happens when I hear somebody, a salesperson, and I know they're giving me the same old jargon that they say to everybody else. Doesn't make me feel special. It bores me to tears. I just want to know if it comes in green and if I can get your widget for $29 a month. But they won't tell you that. They have to give you this silly speech. I love when they say, hi, how are you today? And then you start to answer and they talk over you. That's, how does that make you feel? So empathy plays a really big part in all this. And number 2, you have to, I believe, communicate directly with people. I think it's real important. Speaking to people, and get away from the scripts for starters, and give compelling content through social media. Like this. I'm here. I'm going to tell my story until someone like Brian Carrick just came on. Hi, Brian. If you want to unmute yourself and turn on your video and do a role play or something with me or ask a question, that's fine. The bottom line is, can you give people unbelievable value? Can you do that? And just trying to make sure we are okay on the screen here. Okay, good. Next thing is you have to learn how to attract. You have to do marketing in such a way that you attract high quality prospects. Brian, care to everyone. Okay, let's see. Tim Wilkinson. Okay. And I think you had a question here. I'm not on my. Claude, am I on a limited bandwidth connection? Otherwise, I'd turn on the video. Okay. Say la vie. Oh, Tim is in the building. Hi, Tim. Good afternoon. Long time no see. We had a great discussion yesterday. Tim actually called me while I run every day. I had a ski accident earlier this year, so I'm building up to my normal 10 miles a day. And I think Tim and I ran at least 4 or 5 miles together. Well, he was on the phone. I don't know if he was running, but I was at the time. Hi, Tim.
I'm still out of breath, though.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Is that me or you?
Testing?
I am not getting any sound from you.
I can hear you.
Sorry.
Can you hear
I
Brian?
hope it's on
I
your
can hear
end
you,
and not
Tim.
mine.
Okay.
Can you hear
Can
me?
all-
Okay, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay, good. For some reason, you're just not coming through on the
Brian can-
on my Zoom here. Everything's on my end here, and we love participants and questions. Come and join us. There we go. I don't know. It might be because you have two Tim's note taker on there. So the second thing is I can't hear you.
Can you see the chat? Look at the chat.
Brian says, I am hearing you, but it breaks up a bit. Ooh, sorry about that. The thing about it is, okay, I can't hear you, Brian. I can't hear you, Tim.
I'm here.
Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Maybe you got to
Can you hear
log
me
on
okay?
and off again.
Then you
Too
hear
much
me
technology
again.
sometimes, right? Can you use the first step, which is the agenda, asking questions? Hi, why are we talking today? What would you like to see happen? What is your biggest challenge? What is your biggest problem? You have to be like a doctor and identify the need and relate that need to your product or service. A lot of you are in real estate, for instance, okay? And you're going to call up a seller on a home and you're doing all this time and money spending on marketing. And then you finally get someone who texts you. Maybe you set up and if that's your marketing, and maybe you set up an appointment with that person. Okay. Are you just going to do free consulting for 45 minutes, or are you going to discover how to make an offer to this person who has a problem, or find a way to monetize with this person? A lot of times people call me with problems, and it takes more than one short conversation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a way to monetize it. Maybe make that person a consulting client. Abigail's in the building. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
And I can't hear you. So maybe this is my problem. Can say something, Abigail.
Hi, are you able to hear me at all?
Okay, now I can.
Can you
Okay.
hear me now?
Yes, now
Yeah.
I can. What happened? All of a sudden, all the technology worked.
Yeah.
We're live right now. I think Brandon was supposed to be doing this today, but for some reason he couldn't. So I said, let me just spontaneously do this. Did you have a role play or a question, Abigail or Tim?
Nothing specific.
Now I can't hear you again.
there's-
Got this. Try it now.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like that old, was it Verizon or Sprint commercial, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Did you have a question or a role play or anything?
Well, there are a million different possibilities for role play always, but
Give me your toughest, or give me the one that stumps you, or the question they asked you. What's that one question they always ask? And then we go into zombie land and say, oh, wait, how do I answer this? What's the best? What's the most perfect answer? Do you ever beat yourself up after a phone call and say, why did I say that? Or why didn't I say this brilliant thing? And it's always after the phone call, right?
yeah. I think the hardest question that people ask me is because, I'm sort of new to being an agent and they kind of ask you, oh, what's your experience in this and that? And, I have experience in real estate investing, but not as much in the agent world. And, it's just kind of trying to come up with an answer that makes you look intelligent, but isn't untrue, So, why should they work with you when don't have
That's one of my favorite. That's
of
one of my
experience.
favorites. Why should I work with you? Why should I work with you, Abigail?
Yeah. So that's what I struggle with a little bit because, at least from the agent standpoint, I'm not
Go
always
ahead.
sure.
Let's do that, and let's play it real. You're having a bad day. You switch to decaf or something, and you're having a bad day, and you're going to say that to me. Go ahead. You can beat me up here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Claude, why should I work with you?
Maybe you shouldn't.
Okay. Why do you say that?
Because I don't know, you shouldn't work with, we just met. I don't know what your situation or your problem is. Are you a buyer, seller, or investor in real estate? If I could just ask you that one question.
Well, right now I'm a buyer.
Oh, okay. And what is your biggest challenge or problem as a buyer? You're looking to buy your own home or an investment property? If you don't mind me asking 2 or 3 quick questions.
I gotcha. Okay. Right now I'm looking for my own home. Sometimes I'm looking for investment properties, but looking
That's
for my
so
house.
easy. Let's go call up a couple of realtors, go to your bank, get qualified. What's the problem? I don't understand. Maybe you don't have to work with me.
Well, the problem is there's such a shortage of inventory. And so there are like 10 people offering on everything.
So if you found a property, I don't know what your budget is or what you're looking for or what your location is, but if you found something, I assume you're pre-qualified, you have a deposit, you want to buy a home conventionally?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I could help you to find a home in the next, let's say 30 days, is that something you would be able to make a unilateral decision on?
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
Okay. Well, maybe I can help you. Boom. What just happened? You attacked me.
Yeah.
We're off the role play now.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I did a shock, and a part of GUTS is it's a little bit of acting. It's a lot of understanding human behavior, psychology.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Basically, the amateur salesperson. Why should I work with you? What are they gonna do, Tim?
They're gonna start telling you all the reasons why you should work with them.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm
Well,
honest, I do this, I do that, or whatever.
they're going to go into the script. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hi, we've been in business for 35 years and I'm with ABC and everything. And what happens to the prospect?
Yeah.
Right? They go
Right.
to sleep. Do you create one of the expressions I got to use more often is, are you creating a memory with this person? What's going to happen when you get off the phone with them? If they're polite, they stay on the phone with you a while. Oh, I've got to go walk the chihuahuas or something. Call me in 2 weeks. Send me that information. And they hit the they hit the red button on their iPhone. Do you think they're going to remember you?
Yeah. No, well, that's certainly, because you're not giving them the usual answer. They're going to remember that a little bit more.
Right. I always take the doctor approach, which I know you can identify with. Why are you here? Where does it hurt?
Yeah.
Did your mother and father have this problem? What's your history?
Yeah.
What do and you can't treat the patient unless you know the symptoms. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're not a mind reader. So and some people communicate well, and some people you got to pull it out of them, don't you?
Yeah.
When did it start hurting? Today,
Yeah.
yesterday, a month ago? Where does it hurt? Is it constant? Is it sporadic or anything? Same thing in real estate or any other business. We have to get into some kind of dialogue with people. I think we've lost this skill. I think it's gone. And I think the reason, and should I really be unwoke today, or should I be PC Claude?
I don't know if it's streaming, you might want to be PC.
I don't like being PC. It's not in my nature. I like the truth, you know?
Go unwoke, please.
Okay. I think a lot, thank you. I think a lot of the gurus have given people excuses to justify not speaking directly to people who want to do business, give them a contract, do business with them, give them a lot of money. They've told them that here's an easier, simpler way. And I always go back to the insanity thing. Does it work? Are you doing the same thing over and over again and it's not working, but you're pouring more money into it? And does it work? And they're giving away information that gets away from the one superpower skill that can get you to the bank. It's hard. And I'll freely admit to a lot of people, this is very hard. It's direct selling. And we've lost this skill. We've gone away from it. We think we can use Voxer and everything else, which is great, but all we're doing is free consulting. We can text. I get people all the time. I think, we talk about texting and emailing and all this stuff. But is that eventually and that's all good. Don't take me wrong. I'm not against a modern marketing. I do a lot of social media marketing, but I want it to lead to a phone call.
Yeah.
Because I can't negotiate on $1 million condo in Pasadena by texting. My thumbs will hurt.
Yeah.
And I think this is the problem in our industry. So I'm going to be maybe the lone voice, the only one. And see, I don't know if you guys can see my little sign back there.
You give good phone.
You give good phone. And I know it's hard for a lot of people. I think one of the hardest things I ever did in my life was public speaking. I mean, how are you guys? I mean, to me, I would rather pull teeth without Novocaine before speaking in front of 2 nuns and a Boy Scout. I mean, I did not. Today, I love public speaking. I had to work very hard at it. And I had good mentors in that area too. But I think for a lot of people, learning how to do direct conversation, direct selling, persuasion, influence is a skill they can learn, but it takes time and practice and consistency.
Yeah.
But here's the end result. Like Tim yesterday. Tim and I had a great Tell Abigail, tell the folks listening what you did, what you've been doing. You're doing some really good marketing, and what are you doing with those leads that you're generating?
The things that we're doing with the leads, we're reaching out to them via text originally with an initial outreach text with the intention of just connecting and getting a positive interest response back, and then an immediate scheduling of a phone call to have a conversation. So I'm not sure how deep into the details, but basically we just send a text when we get a yes that they're interested in at least having a conversation. Then we will schedule a phone call or set up a time to actually talk, and then we'll have a guts conversation and dig into how we can possibly help them.
How soon should you get into that conversation? If someone texts you back today, they saw your marketing, they reacted it to you. You're ready. They're a buyer, seller, investor. There's someone who needs information. You want to, and you're strangers. They don't know you yet. And we're in a world, I think, where people are scared to death of strangers.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. What do we all tell our kids?
Don't talk to strangers.
Don't talk to strangers. Well, we grew up in the big bad world and we want to make money. And we have all this communication technology, and we're still staying away from direct communication with strangers. And we have to, and my thing is, I'm a glasses half full guy. I think most people are just looking for someone they can like and trust. I got a text here from one fella. He says, we want rated R Claude when I was talking about being unwoke or un-PC on it. All I can speak emphatically about is what works for me. Picking up the phone, speaking to people who have contacted me through my marketing. I put out tons of content. Okay. I put out all kinds of things in a multitude of different areas. I'm on Amazon, I'm on eBay, I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. This takes time and it takes creativity. I try to put out organic, honest, non-commercial content, right? Just like that. But what Tim just said, talking to the people, doing the marketing, and as quickly as if somebody has a toothache, when do they want to see a dentist?
Like right now.
Like right now. And I know this about myself. Do you ever get interested in a topic or a subject and you just want to research everything you can find out about that little topic, or somebody, you like a certain writer or somebody, you want to go online and see every book they wrote, every interview they've done, stuff like that. I love reading books, so I'll go on, I'll go online and I'll just research the hell out of it. When do I want that information? Now, and that's the beauty of the internet. Okay, I'm going to show my age now. I remember the old days when we needed information. We either went to these very overpriced World Book encyclopedias on the shelf. Thank you, Mom and Dad, because it cost them money, a lot of money. They were really expensive. Okay, I think we still have. I don't know where they are. There was the wait. Let's see. Trivia question: what were all the encyclopedias that existed at one time? World Book,
Britannica.
Funk and Wagnalls.
Thank you, Funk and Wagnalls. Yes. And I think there was another one. If somebody remembers.
There was another one, was American or like Britannica, but it was like America or something.
Yeah. Claudia, what was the encyclopedia we used to pick up at Ralph's or something, even in the supermarket? Was it the Funk and Wagnalls or something like that? We used to, every time you go shopping, you'd pick up another encyclopedia at Ralph's supermarket. Yeah. It was amazing. And that's how we researched. Or we went to the library and we went into these horrible machines. This was high tech then. It was called a trivia question. Who remembers?
The fiche.
Microfiche machines. Okay. Microfiche. You get this thing, and you'd have to find the magazine through a reference book. Mm-hmm. Then you'd have to go and cross-reference it with the microfiche roll. And these were dusty little tin can rolls and stuff. Oh my gosh, just happen to have a copy on me here right now. Thank you, dear. Yeah, Funkin'. Didn't Laugh-In used to make a lot of fun? Oh, I said
Laugh-In. I wasn't born for Laugh-In.
I was.
How old are you?
Oh God.
They used to talk about putting.
I'm kidding. I saw Laugh-In.
Information in a jar on the porch at Funk and Wagnalls or something like that.
Yes. And we used to use the microfiche machine. Oh, here's a final trivia question. I love trivia. What was the device at least when I went to school, before there was Xerox, how did they make copies?
Thermofax. Oh, well, Thermofax transmitted. That was the first fax machines.
No, before fax machine, we had to make copies inside the school.
You're talking about like a
It was on a roller. You had to type it on a special piece of paper, which kids love to smell. We got a free buzz.
It stunk.
It was
stunk. It's
gross.
gross.
It got you high. And you'd put it in this. You'd put us in a roller, and then you turn it, and it would make.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll think of it in a second.
Know.
A mimeograph machine. I had to answer my own trivia question. Okay, this is old technology. It did work though, and stuff like that today. But now today, what do we have? We need information. This is the beauty of the internet, right? And it's not that old if you think about it. Really, when did the whole internet thing start? In the 90s, late 90s? Really?
Yeah, kind of late 90s.
Yes.
And we had
and the first browser showed up in about 97.
Right. And who remembers those discs that we used for coasters that every day we'd get them in the mail? They were giving them away for free on every supermarket counter. AOL. Keep going.
Net Zero.
Net Zero was one. Who remembers the big one?
Earthlink.
Earthlink was one.
Earthlink. Who remembers the big one? Started with a P. Give up. Prodigy.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Remember that one? Remember, and we didn't have browsers and stuff like that. We had to use these other companies that they were basically our browsers, but they were dedicated browsers. You could only get the information that they had, I believe, and then eventually all the other things started to come into place. The texting and the online. Remember the things online? Reddit does that kind of still.
AOL chat rooms and stuff
The
like that.
AOL chat room and stuff, and then everything else came. So today, when we need information, and we're overloaded with tons of information that we've never had before, readily available, and we've become so dependent on all this technology. I'm getting to a point here, hang in there, that I think we have lost the skill to directly communicate with people. And when you're buying or selling a house or something like that, and you want to negotiate in it, are you going to be able to text and email the finer points of the negotiation? Are you going to be able to motivate somebody? Are you going to get them to like and trust you? Are you going to be able to persuade them? Are you going to use hypnotic words that put pictures in their mind? It's another book I wrote, the Rules of the GUTS Sales Method. Yes, go ahead.
One of my criticisms, like as you're describing, is
Okay.
that yes, we can easily communicate, so to speak, today, but we are in our own heads when we're doing it on our phones or on our PCs or chatting and that kind of stuff. We are rarely anymore in the mind of the listener, of the person you're talking with. And to me, as I've tried to help salespeople, getting them to understand that what you said is not what they heard, kind of thing, that old simple phrase. But the internet and on your phone, you're thinking about what you're typing, and you're having a conversation in your own head with this damn device that's going on. And you have no idea really, for the most part, what the people that read that text are actually understanding or comprehending from what you're saying.
Very good, very good, well said, Brian. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Sometimes, did you ever read a text and it was not necessarily a double entendre, a double meaning, which I love those, by the way. The thing about it is they interpreted, I think you said this, I'm saying it in a different way. They interpreted it a different way than what you meant. Okay, words and sentences can have multiple meanings and things like that. I'm an emotional seller. I believe in emotional selling. Go ahead, Brian. Did you want to respond?
No, I was just saying is that we lost the old art form of grammar and punctuation. And so that's so common that you're saying something, but the way the words flow into their mind have no structure.
Yeah. Yeah. Does it drive anybody crazy when you read an article in the New York Times, which I used to love? I've been reading I actually canceled my subscription. I've been reading it since I was a little kid in school. We used to get it for 25 cents a week, the New York Times. They start a sentence on a column, or they complete a paragraph, a new sentence with the word but. When did we lose our skills? When did newspapers and all, when did these writers, these so-called professional journalists, forget all the rules of structure and composition? Isn't it amazing? I'm an emotional seller. One of the rules I teach, it's in my books, and the rules I teach my students is people make immediate business decisions emotionally. They'll justify them, ratify them intellectually, academically, after the fact, because it still has to make sense to them. Even though they emotionally have said yes, they still have to justify the purchase. Can they afford it? Does it make sense and everything else like that? But they make the immediate decision emotionally. And can we, by the way we ask questions, tell stories, interact with this person? And listening, as Brian said, is a big part of that. You know, when we're speaking directly one-on-one with somebody, can we make it so emotional that in their mind they can visualize being in their own house, smelling the food from the kitchen, snuggling with someone special with a comforter by the fireplace, smelling the pine cones, or something like that? Can you put that in their mind so that they get so emotionally involved? Food is real easy. You ever watch those commercials on TV when someone bites into that big Jack in the Box burger? What was the commercial they used to say? Did you get it on your clothing or something like that? Or to me, if I was going to do a food commercial, I'd say it's messy.
It's all over your face.
It's all over your face, but we'll give you extra napkins. Don't worry. about it. Sorry, we have to apologize. Our food is so good. It is so messy that we have to give people extra napkins. Okay, and you show somebody biting into this big, delicious, melting with cheese burger. There's one guy, I forget, his name is, I think, David something. He's the one bite pizza guy. Does anybody know who I'm talking about?
No.
He's on YouTube, and he does the one bite pizza. And he goes to, I love pizza. You guys know me, my regular students. I talk about pizza all the time. I'm a deprived New Jersey boy, New York boy. I lived in both places, and I grew up on pizza. It was my staple of my food. And I've moved to other places, Colorado and California, places I love, but the pizza, you'd rather eat the box with a little tomato sauce poured on it than the pizza that they serve. And this guy does these videos in front of the pizzeria. He'll buy a whole box. He'll stand outside in the cold, the rain, the snow, and he'll do one bite and talk about this pizza. And you see him eating that dripping cheese. You see on a cold day, like he's in Boston, and you see the steam coming off it. You have to see him bite into it, and you can hear the crunch when he pulls it in half and everything. Tell me that doesn't make you hungry. Tell me that doesn't put a picture in your mind. Tell me that doesn't tell you that you want pizza right now or for dinner tonight. Abigail, am I making you hungry?
Sounds good, but I told you last week I had just had an amazing pizza in New York, so
I know, that's why I'm doing it.
probably had my fill.
Oh gosh. Can you have enough? The thing about it is, when we're communicating with people, can we have the same effect like someone's showing us eating food? Can we put that picture in their mind with the way we use our words, the words we choose, the way we say these words, the pentameter, the volume? I'm a loud guy. Ask my poor wife. But I can speak softly sometimes for emphasis. I speak very quickly, very fast. It's an East Coast thing. But for emphasis, sometimes I can slow it down for something important. I can create those magic moments on it. I can use descriptive words. Oh, the hot steaming cheese, and the oil is dripping down your arm. But when you bite into it and burn the roof of your mouth, and the pepperoni and the crunch of the boom, what does that do? And I think we've lost these skills. And we're trying to avoid that direct communication with people. And if you get good at listening, like Brian said, you got to listen to people. My gut system. The second step is qualification. It's about asking questions. Why are we what would you like to see happen, Mr. and Mrs. Prosper? Why are we talking today? Can you help me, Mr. and Mrs. Prosper? I have your name and number in front of me here, and I'm so embarrassed. Why am I calling you Mr. Wilkinson? Come on, let's role play Wednesday. Let's do some role play. Sorry, sir, I'm sorry. Say hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hi, is this Mr. Wilkinson?
Yes, this is Tim.
Hi, this is Claude. I've got a Post-it here with your name and phone number. I am so sorry. My desk is a mess. You know what I'm talking. Do you know why I'm calling you, sir? This isn't about real estate, is it?
Well, I have a house for sale.
That's it. And it's sold by now, right?
No. I haven't had it on the market for long.
Oh, I'm in real estate. Would you like to sell it today if I could make you the right offer?
Definitely.
Oh, you're a gentleman, sir. Thank you. Can I ask you 2-3 quick questions? You ask me a few. I'll make you an offer, and you can fire me, or maybe we can do business. Fair?
Totally fair.
You're a gentleman. What a pleasure to speak with you, sir. Off the role play. What did I just do in that 45-second little discourse we did? Hi, just reaching out to you today. I'm from Prudential, the blah, blah, blah. And I'd like to know about your house that's on the market today. Do you see the difference in the way I engaged you?
Yeah.
Okay. I did a multitude of things that most people I don't think will see. First of all, I acted confused. What happens when, go ahead.
I was going to say, I felt like I wanted to help you. Like, let's figure it out. Why are you calling?
I think Abigail and I had this discussion. You see an elderly lady with a walker, and she's having trouble getting across the street, and not getting her walker over the sidewalk or something like that. What's a normal nice person like you, Mr. Wilkinson? What are you going to do?
I'm gonna go help her.
What would happen if you walked away and you ignored her?
I would, it would bug me. Like if I was driving by and I saw it and it was like a mile back, I would feel like, man, I gotta turn around and go back.
My mother, God rest her soul, she's been gone a real long time. She yells at me every day when I screw up. And if that was something I did wrong, I don't know where she's communicating, but she's in there, baby. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit of a Freudian. Okay. You remember what Robin Williams said, Oedipus Schmedipus, Mom, I love you. Okay. The thing, she's in that head. She raised me. Okay. Great woman. And the thing about, if I did something like that, my unconscious would kick in. You go back there. I didn't raise you. You help that lady. When we call up people, if we understand that, and I think most people are like that. If someone goes to you, could you help me? I am so lost. I don't know. Do you know where the bathroom is? Anything like that. Can you give me direct? When you go to somebody and you call them up, even though you're a stranger, and you say, I'm a fallible human being. I got this phone number here. I don't know what it's about, and I'm so embarrassed. What do you think most people are how are they going to respond?
They're gonna help.
Yeah, they might. And this is just verbal. We're not even using Zoom or anything like that. We're just verbally, I've got your, and then I did another little guts psychological move. We call it redirection, where I go in the opposite expected direction to get the answer that I want. And then I listen very carefully, like Brian Kerr said earlier. I'll say to you, you must have sold that already.
Right. No, I didn't.
No, I didn't. So the pendulum swung back to you, didn't it? So now, would you like, and then I said, I went right away, and this is like the first 30 seconds. I said, could I ask you a few questions, which is back to our agenda step. We only have 3 little steps in my system, but they're all about the questions and how you ask them. I said, could I ask you a few questions? You can ask me a few, and I'll make you an offer, or you can fire me. What if I set up for this one phone call in that nice little sentence?
All the rules. It also feels like as the role player, as the seller, it almost feels like immediately we're on the same side of the table. Like we're working on this together immediately.
What happens when you say to somebody, I'd like to make you an offer with a time frame today? Today is the most important word. Offer and today. What are they hearing? Those 2 words. I could go back to my script. Hi, just reaching out to you today. We've been in business, blah, 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 blah. We have locations all over the US and I've trained a person. And instead I go to you. I'd like to ask you a few questions and then make you an offer today. What are you hearing?
Well, I'm going to sell my house.
Yes. Yes. Let me go to I got a few text questions here. Hello, Claude. Hey, don't forget the Atari system. I think that's a game. Was that an actual information system or a game system? Wasn't Atari Pong or something? Chris Lopez?
There was a video game, but there was the Atari. There was like an Atari computer, I think. A Commodore 64, the Commodore 64.
Commodore 60. Who remembers Pong? I'm really going to show my age. Who remembers the 2 little paddles, the Pong?
Oh, yeah.
And that was the first
Claude,
thing we hooked.
I'm gonna remember it because I worked there.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
I worked at Atari.
Was that Atari that came out with Pong?
Yes,
Oh God.
yes.
What was our
And they
favorite
did
game?
later on. They introduced computers,
The Commodore.
so they
That's
had
right,
the stand-up arcade games, and then they had the home system for Pong, and then the home system evolved into the console. We had cartridges, and then they got into computers.
God, and do you remember all the quarters we spent on those machines? What was it? What was it? Pac-Man? Remember
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man? And
I
then
remember
they came,
Frogger.
Yeah, and Ms. Pac-Man,
Frogger,
Dick
yes.
Dug, and Donkey
Asteroid.
Kong, and da-da-da-da-da.
what was the other one with the little rocket ships and you were shooting ping, ping, and
Asteroids.
asteroid. God, I must have spent my first year of college tuition on that game. I mean, I loved that game.
I was a hero to my son because I could give him all the quarters he wanted, and then I could submit an expense report at work.
Wow, the perfect job, the perfect dad. God, what was the other? I'm trying to think of the Mario. Was Mario on an actual
Mario Brothers.
That was on Nintendo.
Mario is what really ruined the universe for our children, because that's when the Game Boy came out. Oh no, and they got great movie, Tetris. You guys know, no, Tetris. I mean, there is a phenomenal movie. I just saw it. I forgot. Was it on? I think it's on Apple. Yes, Apple TV has a movie about the guy who found the Russian who made Tetris. And the hardest thing was getting this guy to, the Russians didn't want to make money. It was communist. It was communist dictatorship then, and they had too many rules and bureaucracy. And the whole story about how he got Tetris into the machines and the lawyers and the negotiation and everything. It's a great story on it. If you like business stories and stuff like that. BAWPLI says, I love listening. Listening is a good skill. Okay. What's the hardest thing for men to do? At least this man.
Yes, dear.
I've been really trying to listen carefully. When you're not a good listener, when you have a prospect that says, yeah, let's do this. I'm ready to give you a credit card. And you just talk over them and go back to your presentation again. The expression is, can you accept yes as an answer? Have we ever had that? I know I am guilty of that. Someone wanted to do it and I kept talking. I know I've met salespeople like that. Yeah, I want to buy this. I want to buy this right now. Speaking of technology, Brandon Simmons is here on Voxer. You guys ever use that? It's kind of a cool little piece of technology. Let's see if I can use him right now. Let's see.
Hey, Claude, my apologies about the scheduled stuff. I'm going to go ahead and jump on my Google Calendar and block out the third Wednesday at 9 a.m.
Hey, Brandon, this is Claude. We are live right now, so come and join us.
And then I will make sure to announce that.
Come and join us.
So the first Wednesday is going to be.
Anyway, all good games, all good technology. All the things that have evolved us to this point. The thing about it is, have we lost the real skills so that we can make the money that we want for the lifestyle that we want? And for me, this is why maybe I'm a little over emphatic about it. What changed? I did all this stuff. I went to college. I went to law school. I went to every seminar. I read every success book, every Napoleon Hill and Dale Carnegie out there. I read all that stuff. And I was still broke with all that, it was always more month than money. And what really changed for me is learning from this tremendous salesperson, a New Jersey person, by the way. I would see somebody get on the phone and be so charismatic and so skillful, so deft, is that the word? With the prospect, and close them and make more money in one phone call than I would make in a whole year at a corporate job I didn't like. And when I saw that, I mean, it's one of those moments. You ever have those epiphanies, those moments in life where you say, wow, aha, that's how it works. Oh, wow, that's how to do it. And I don't think anybody is telling this story other than me, and maybe Brandon Simmons is saying it a lot. I think we're over tech. The technology is good, but the technology is just a stepping stone to getting to one-on-one with somebody in capital sales. Whether you're in products or service, you're selling a large dollar item like real estate or financial services or mentoring and coaching or whatever it is, can you communicate directly with people? So when they get off the phone, what do you want people to say about Brandon Simmons when they get off the phone?
He's amazing.
He is the man.
Brandon the man. That's right. Yep.
No, what do you really want him to say emotionally?
So Claude, I think you're hitting the nail on the head, because like if you think about true professionals like a doctor, an attorney, when they sit one-on-one with their client, they can find out what really is bothering them. They can get to the source of the problem, and then they can figure out a solution or a remedy for that problem.
Yes. When you buried the victim, the person you murdered, how many shovels did you use, Mr. Simmons?
Yeah. None.
Hey, Claude. Hi,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Brian.
One of in my past, I worked with a guy, Scott, and the first time I ever took him into one of my biggest clients, we had to check in at a hotel the night before, and I'm standing there checking in, and he's right next to me, and this guy's well dressed and everything else, and the young lady puts the rate sheet in front of him to sign in, all that kind of stuff, and he's looking down at it, and he's looking down at it, to sign in, and he just quietly asks, "Is this the IBM rate?" Okay. And she behind the counter was like, "Oh, I am so sorry." And she pulled signing stuff back. She goes, she prints out another one, and she knocks about 40% off the room rate for him to sign in. He didn't say he's with IBM. He didn't say that he wanted the IBM rate. He just asked, "Is this the IBM rate?" And it's amazing how when you do stuff with people, they will fill in the blanks. And so you're kind of talking around this a little bit. They'll fill in the blanks and come up and give you the answer.
And we turn the prospect into the salesperson. Do you ever have that? Has anyone ever had that magic moment where the prospect started opening up to you? This is what I need. This is what I'm looking for. This is our problem. This is our budget. And this is what I need. If we can convert that prospect and make them open up to us and get that dialogue going and say, and just I call it feigning ignorance. "Sir, I'm not sure if I understand. Why don't you just go to a realtor? Why don't you go to your banker? Why don't you go to your lawyer?" "Oh, well, I tried that. And I'm doing that on purpose." That's the redirection strategy we talked about a little earlier. And what Brian is talking about, I believe, is getting the prospect so emotionally involved that they become the salesperson. They qualify themselves. They tell you their budget. They tell you how to close them. They give it to you on a silver platter if you know how to speak to them the right conversation the right way. I mean,
Claude,
that takes a lot of practice.
You've been doing this for years. And there was, who Chris Voss is?
Yeah. Never split the difference. And I love to split the difference.
Yeah. So he talks about trying to get like yes questions or BS. You don't want a bunch of yes questions. You want no questions. And partly, if you think about it, what you're saying is they're disqualifying them. "No, I don't want to list the house with the realtor. No, I don't want to rent it. I don't want to be a landlord."
Why not? Why not?
You're trying to get them to go through that, right?
Yeah. Why don't you want to list the realtor? There's some good ones out there.
Well, I don't want the house to be, torn apart, after I just put 15,000 into fixing it up.
I'm not sure. What do you mean? The realtor would bring somebody over with a sledgehammer and they'd start beating on your drywall or something?
Tenants have animals or kids, and they mess up the carpet or they draw on the walls with crayons and stuff like that.
Big problem. You're right, sir. Okay, now I get it. Okay. And so if you found a solution that could avoid that malicious destruction and still protect your property while maintaining monetary payments, that you wouldn't take an action if you found that solution, would you?
What would that solution be?
I have a couple ideas and I want to share them with you. I have a few solutions here. I've been taking notes. I hope you don't mind on our conversation. Thank you so much for sharing it. But if you found a solution and I'm going to give you a few too. Would you be able, are you the person in authority who could take action and make a decision today?
Yep. I can make a decision today.
You won't tell me you have to go to a board of directors or your wife or
No,
light a candle in
no.
church or something?
I'm not married. I'm a single guy. This is my house.
Okay, maybe I'll invite. I'll introduce you to my sister-in-law. Okay. Yeah, she is. She, my wife in the kitchen, the peanut gallery. You know, that's another. Does anyone remember the peanut gallery? Oh my God! What just happened in that role? That was a good role play. Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah.
Brand Garb brought up all this stuff, all these objections. By the way, here's a rule. It's in my book, by the way. Objections are opportunities to close. What did I try to get from Brandon? And he kind of answered my question with a question. He threw me for a loop. You never know what you're going to learn in role playing. That's why I love it so much. Brandon didn't. I said, if you found that solution, and then he went to me, what solution would you give me, or something to that effect, you said, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to go back in again and fix that, and then go back in again and ask in a different way to get that commitment from him. We're in the business of getting these little baby step commitments, aren't we? Getting him into that yes thing on it. So I got the commitment. So now I have to offer him solutions to his needs and greeds, his problems. We got to find the needs, exacerbate the needs, and then create some new needs, maybe. This is how you gain that, get closer and closer in that relationship. What's the one of the I think from Brian before it came up, price objections. What do you do when you're the most expensive guy in town? Okay, and there's a lot of competition who are much cheaper than you. How do you deal with that? Brian, Brandon, Brandon. I want to buy your widget. I want to buy your pens, your Sharpie pens, but your price is like 3 times as much as the other guy's pens.
Yeah. Well, why do you think others are buying my pens instead of the other pens?
I don't know, man. People got too much money. They're wasteful or something like that. You know what? We always look at the price.
Well, actually my pens actually last 3 times as long, and they never fade compared to some of the other competitors out there. So that's part of the reason. But just let me ask you this: if a pen lasted you 3 times as long, how would you buy more or less pens?
I never thought about that. That's a good point. Because the pens we get, the cheap ones, man, the cheap imitation Sharpies, they dry out in like 3-4 days.
You're absolutely correct. Yeah.
So you're saying
how many would you like to order, 100 or 500?
Well, I haven't decided yet. This is a radical change in our company to pay $1 a pen when we're paying 33 cents.
Well, you're actually in luck. Today only, you can get these 500 pens for only 90 cents instead of $1. So it's 10% savings.
Does it come with a guarantee
for today? So, I mean, if you can't make the decision today, I understand. Is that something you can make a decision on or not?
I can make the decision. It's just does it come with a guarantee?
Well, that's an interesting question. Why do you ask that?
Well, I talk to a lot of salespeople, and sometimes they overpromise and underdeliver. And I don't know you. This is no offense. They always say that, but it's very offensive. It's really a credibility issue. But no offense, sir. But we just met. I don't know you. I don't know your company.
You know what? We don't offer guarantees, but
it's only a pen.
Suppose I did offer. Yeah, it's only a pen. But suppose I was able to guarantee this or order for you. What would you want to do then? And what would that guarantee look like for you?
It just you said they'll last 3 times as long. I'm going to give you. I've made a decision. I'm going to give you an order because you sound like a nice guy. You said it'll last 3 times as long. If this pen if the pen you're talking about can last at least 3 weeks instead of 1 week, I'm going to be a repeat order. I'm going to give you repeat orders.
Did you want to, since it's on sale today, did you want to get the 500 or 1,000 count?
Is that could I get 100 to start?
Well, with this discount, you have to have a minimum order of 500.
Wow, you're really putting me against the rock and a hard place here. Oof. Okay, off the role play.
Well,
You know that
let me ask you a question. You
you
seem
know
like
that
a very
moment
smart
where-
guy.
You know that
I was going to
moment?
jump in there.
I'll just 10,000 angels on the head of a pin. Did you ever hear that discussion? That metaphor?
Mm-mm.
The head of a pen, not a pin.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just like, you know what? I was gonna do a stroke and pat on the back, and then and talk about a long-term relationship. So, you know, you seem like such a nice guy.
Let's assume you can give the guarantee.
Yeah.
Okay, just you know you're, and struggle. You don't
That's what I
like
was
to
doing,
give guarantees, but you can. This is a new customer, a new order.
Mhm.
Can you get a future sale out of this guy if you offer a
Let
guarantee?
me ask you a question, Claude. Suppose I can go ahead and get the order down to 100. How many are you typically ordering every month?
We order a couple thousand every month. We're a big company, you know, and the pens go, we give them away to customers. The salesmen lose 10 pens a day. We probably order 10,000 pens a month.
Suppose
So 500, if you could, I'll take 500 if you can guarantee them.
Okay. Suppose I can't guarantee it. What would you want to do then?
You can guarantee them, you said?
Suppose I could.
I'll give you a purchase order right now.
You know what? I want to do business with you. I think we're going to have a long, ongoing relationship. Claude, let's do this. You seem like a man of your word, and I'm going to enjoy working with you.
Oh, thank you.
So
now let's put a cherry on top. This is called reciprocity. We talk a lot about that. Okay. Abigail, you have a Cheshire cat smile on your, a Mona Lisa smile on your face there. What are you dying to say?
I'm not dying to say anything. I just kind of like,
I saw the wheels spinning there, and I
like, no, just everything that you were talking about, you guys are doing it. Like,
could you struggled, you gave me the guarantee. You're gonna give me a little, you know, my boss is gonna kill me for this, but I don't care. If you want to return them.
Wow. You know, Mr. Tinley, the owner of the company, is probably going to get after me for doing this, but you know what?
I don't want to get you in trouble, man.
No, I know. You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to go out and take care of this for you. Okay. I'm going to put a guarantee in there. I'm going to put this in the notes. So that way, if that doesn't last 3 times as long, we'll give you all your money back and you can keep the pens. How's that sound?
You're great. Thank you. I mean, I hope I don't get you in trouble. I believe you. When you tell me these, now I'm on your side. Now I'm selling you. Now it's a bro fest. Can you make, this is the next part, is a guts move. Since now I'm in your debt, right? Emotionally in this way. You never know what you're going to learn in these role plays. That's why I love them so much. Could you now push the envelope and ask for, Claude, I'm sticking my neck out for you. I'm going to ship them out today. You know, and if the pens work and everything, can we get that 10,000 a month business? Get something back. Get something back from me now.
So quick question for you, Claude. Hey, you know what? Thank you so much for what you're doing. You know, I am sticking my neck out for you, but suppose.
Thank you. I really appreciate everything you did for me today. Thank you. You're a good guy.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I know pens disappear, not necessarily that they run out of ink before they disappear, but suppose I can get that rate locked in for you ongoing. Would I be able to have you commit to that 10,000 pen order every month?
If I'll tell you what, I'll stick mine, since you stuck your neck out for me, and I respect that. I'll tell you what, if the pens are as good as you say they are, you call me the end of this month, and I'll give you a starting order for 5,000.
You know what, Claude? You got a deal. Let's do this.
Boom.
Boom.
What did you, off the role play? There was so much to be learned in that little bitty conversation. Tim, what's your takeaway from that little, where he got the simple order, but then the next move was brilliant.
Yeah, I think you, I don't know how that looks in a real estate negotiation, like for a contract. That's what I was trying
So
Like
one of the
how-
things I did there is it's a give and take. Anytime they ask for something, you try to get something back on a negotiation every time. If they ask for a longer term or shorter term, you ask for a lower price, right? If, anything they ask, you try to get something back. The second thing too, is if you notice, I didn't jump right on his offer, the 5,000 immediately. I kind of just paused for a second, let it kind of like simmer. And then I said, you know what, I like you. Let's do this. It's just a little bit of a stroke and then a commit, like a struggle to move forward.
Okay.
A bit of a struggle.
We have my friend Bob Ply, and forgive me if I'm saying your name wrong. I use my real name on social media. I know most people don't. The confusion works wonders, especially if you need to diffuse the seller or calm them down or break the walls from being enemies to friends. And then he also posted, I love the law of reciprocity. And I just came up with a new idea. See, I take notes too. I never
I'm
thought
sorry,
of it.
I have to jump off real quick, everyone. Sorry.
This is, you're going to miss out on my new idea that I just got.
Let me text her.
Reciprocity 2.0
Reciprocity squared.
squared.
You ask for something, you give them something that's really not costing you much or anything, but you struggle and give that impression in their mind that, wow, you stuck your neck out, you're going to get in trouble with your boss and everything. You get the order because you have the commitment for the small order, but now you want a future or larger order. Can you go back into reciprocity again while they're thanking you? Most people will say, thank you, you're a good person, I really appreciate what you did for me. And then you go back again and utilize reciprocity one more time. That's why I said squared. Maybe that's the wrong mathematical formulation, but can we use reciprocity again and say, now that if the pens perform, the guarantee, the house, whatever we're doing, if that does that, can you do this for me? Can you give me a larger order? Can you sign Tim, I'm really glad we figured out a way to finance this deal. We set it up with an option, with a 2-year lease purchase for the price and terms you want. Could you do me one small favor, since I was able to structure the deal for you like the way you wanted?
Okay.
Could you get me back? I'm going to send you a DocuSign. Could you get it back to me before 2:00 today? That would be a tremendous favor. Would you mind doing that?
Yeah, I can do that for you.
You are such a good guy. Thank you so much. Boom.
Okay.
Reciprocity to the second power. And then, which is really the most important thing to me in a real estate negotiation, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you talk about small, pardon my language, chicken shit stuff that see, when someone asks us a simple thing, oh, gee, can you paint the doorknob? Oh, yeah, we always paint the doorknob. Say, wow, no one's ever asked that before. Maybe, we're going to have to hire a contractor, do some research. I don't know if changing the doorknob to blue complies with the zoning, and I'll have to call up the management. You know what? I'm going to do this for you, Mr. Wilkinson. I'm going to do this for you. You're a good guy. I want to earn your trust in business. And what you asked is fairly reasonable, changing the color of the doorknob. I know that's important to you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's important.
Okay. And I respect that. So
Hey, Claude,
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
yeah, I've often used sort of a phrase that sets the stage for the conversation you're describing. And it really starts off with, you've gotten to some point and you say, I'm not saying that I can, but if I could, would you, and so you're negotiating without the commitment in place. And it's amazing where that goes down the road. And then at the end of it, when you've gotten what you want out of the relationship, then you come in and confirm it. And through this whole time, my expectation is that they're anticipating getting what you said you may not be able to do. It's kind of another layer in what you're talking.
Yeah. It's the layer, the thing of an onion, right? The layers of the skin of an onion. We're peeling away and that's why I always talk about emotional selling versus intellectual selling. How do I get this person to like and trust me? It's a delicate balance. It's surgery, isn't it? With words. And we can do that like what you just talked about, Brian, that hypothetical close. Even with that, I don't know if I can do this, Tim. I don't know if I can change the color of the doorknob, man. But I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm going to do that for you. And I'm no promises, okay? But I'm going to take care of this right now. I'm going to call up the contractor, the management company, our legal department, and see what I can find out about doing that. Because I know on a 1 through 10, how important is that for you? 10 meaning urgent.
That's a 10.
It's a 10. You know what? And I respect that. Good for you for bringing that up. Good for you. Let me ask you this. I'm going to do that. I'll get back to you by the end of today with an answer. I hope it's yes, but it might be no. Off the role play. This is what Brian was talking about. Maybe you don't know the answer, but does the prospect see the effort and the commitment?
Right.
And thank you, Brian, for bringing that up. It's great. See, this is a wonderful thing. And then we go into what do I really want? The true reciprocity. Brian, wire? I'll do all that for the doorknob. Could you do me a small favor? We need the $25,000. I have to show that to get the ball rolling on this. Could you do me a favor and do the wire through Wells Fargo? I think that you said that's your bank. Could you wire the $25,000 to our account today and send me a copy of the statement that you made the wire transfer today? That would be a tremendous help. Would you mind doing that? Tim, would you mind doing that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, pending the blue doorknob.
Oh, okay. I can't guarantee that. You know what? It's only a doorknob. Even if they say no, I'm going to go out there myself with a paint. I'm going to go to Home Depot, get a can of green paint. I'm going to paint the damn thing green. And if there's a problem, you get back to me. I'll guarantee the doorknob. Could you do that small favor for me with the wire?
Yeah, I can definitely do that.
You're a good man. Thank you, sir. Boom.
I love that because it takes it all the way to the conclusion, and then you give the cherry back to them that they were looking for.
Struggle with the chicken shit. My mentor, the man who taught me sales, used to say, we are in the business of turning chicken shit like doorknob colors. I don't know where that came from. We are in the business of turning chicken shit into chicken salad. Okay. What's the most important thing in the sale? Getting paid. Getting the contract, right? Can we get that commitment? And when they bring up, that's why I always say stalls, boy, we went way over time here. This is too much fun. Thank you, guys. I love talking about sales. It's so much fun. The thing about it is, through the art and science of the conversation, and I say science also, there's a lot of science in here. It's why I like to dissect these role plays all the time. We learn this and we practice this enough. Are these realistic situations that come up? These objections, these stalls,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about the blue doorknob, or the green doorknob, but yeah, the objections come up.
I needed something fast. Sometimes this is how I get into trouble too. So, sometimes there's no filterization between those ideas and the mouth,
Yeah.
This is how you get in a lot of trouble sometimes,
Yeah.
And the older you get, the filters seem to dissipate or go away. But the thing about it is, you get those objections, and even if they're unreasonable or not, can you still get a commitment? Can you struggle with them? And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was, do you notice that I'm always complimenting? We call that the stroke in psychology. I'm always that's a great question. Thank you for bringing it up. Oh, Tim, Abigail, thank you. You've been, you've been such nice people to speak with. I really appreciate, you coming on the phone or on Zoom with me today. What can I do for you? Can I send you a free book? What can I do for you today? Boom. What happens when you acknowledge people by good listening? That was a good key point we pulled out today. What happens when you acknowledge people, you compliment them sincerely, okay, not pandering? Do you think you get closer? Do you think you get to that magic moment with that prospect? I don't think you can do that texting and emailing. What we've done here today, I don't think you can do that. So this is why I love talking about it. I'll give you guys the last word. I've been talking too much as usual. Who has a last question before we go? Or a role play or whatever you want. I'll drink coffee. Your pen is too expensive. Let's do another take on that and we'll call it a day.
Okay.
Or go ahead. You can be the angry prosecutor. Your pen's way too expensive.
Claude, your pen's way too expensive.
You're right. I hear this all the time. We're the most expensive pens in the world. I don't think anyone sells this pen for. I think our competition is more than 1/3 the price of our pen. Why do you think we're so successful when we sell so many of these pens when we're so much higher? Take a guess. You're a smart young man.
Well, they must be better or better salespeople.
You're right. Better pens cost more. Thank you for saying that, sir. Exactly. So if you want a cheaper pen, I can give you a list of people who sell really cheap pens. Okay, they don't, but you know the problem that happens with cheaper pens, right?
Yeah. But I typically lose my pen before it ever runs out of ink.
Yeah. Yeah. So you might as well, so if it's not a problem, you might as well stay with those really cheap pens, right? I mean, why are we even talking? Why are we even talking today? You're happy with the cheap pens. You buy a lot of cheap pens. Sometimes they don't write. Sometimes they leak and they ruin your nice shirt. Sometimes, you're constantly throwing them out, rebuy. I mean, but you're happy with that, right?
I'm not happy with it for sure. But
what would you, in a perfect world, what would you like to see happen?
I'd like to have a pen that.
Can I write this down? This is great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Can I write this down, what you're going to share with me?
Yeah, I hope you can write it down. Hopefully you have a good pen. Do your pens work?
Yeah, they work really well. There's something satisfying about having a pen, and they're a little bit thicker. They have a special tactile feel, and they always write. They're so darn reliable. They last for weeks and months. And that's why they cost more. But yeah, thank you. There's something that makes me more productive. There's something organic. When I pick up a pen and it writes, whether it's an order or a contract, that might be do you write contracts for a lot of money?
We do.
What happens? Did you ever have it with a customer and you had a pen and you needed to sign it and it didn't work? That isn't a problem you ever encountered?
Oh yeah, we have that happen sometimes.
Is that embarrassing in front of a client who's spending maybe 6 figures on a piece of real estate?
Yeah, it can be. I like to have a good heavy duty metal, a pen that's a little heavy in my hand.
Exactly. What were those problems? Do you see what I'm doing here?
Yeah.
I kind of did a little bit of an obfuscation. First I did, just to break this down. First thing I did is I want to take notes because your pearls of wisdom are worth writing down. This is better than the tablets Moses brought down. Okay. Good. Let me write that down. That's a stroke and a nurture in a way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then I got the idea in my head because I believe in being confident and relaxed during the conversation. And the idea came to me that maybe you're in a business where you sign contracts. Do you really want to give your prospect, the person who's spending on a cheap pen or a pen that doesn't write? I'm trying to make this more romantic, more emotional for you.
Yeah.
Okay. I could tell you about the history of our company. We've been in business. It was started by Levi Strauss on the chuck wagon across Montana. I could give you that whole thing. But don't people buy emotionally?
Yeah.
What would be the emotion if you were signing a big contract with somebody and you gave them a cheap pen that started leaking or wouldn't write? Embarrassment.
That would be bad. Yeah. Frustrated.
Yeah. You see how we see the moves?
Yeah,
hey, Ryan, welcome.
Hey, thanks, Claude.
Hey, thanks. I'm sorry you're at the conclusion of this. We've been having a lot of fun here and everything. What do you do?
I'm a trader. I'm on Wall Street.
Okay. You've got some great stories, I'm sure, about emotional selling.
Little bit.
Do you love that? I'm trying to think. I love business movies. What's the Wolf of Wall Street, where he's selling that? Yes, you could pay off your house. You know that scene I'm talking about?
Sure.
And all the other salespeople are script readers, and
Mm-hmm.
this guy is just a great, spontaneous, emotional. Say, sir, you know, with unexpected expectations and returns on this investment, sir. Yes, you could pay off your house. And all of a sudden, he's getting this guy swinging over, and he closes him, and everybody's around him going, "How did you do that?" Do you have moments like that in trading?
Trading's actually kind of boring. It's not. There's really no excitement in the real money making of stuff. So
Okay. Do you have direct contact with potential big buyers or something like that?
yes, I probably every week I have to talk to somebody that I get brought on board to give the boring stuff to. But I want to do more exciting stuff too.
Yeah. Can you make them emotionally involved? Why do people buy investments? One word. What's the emotion?
Greed.
Greed, baby. Wall Street won, right?
Mhm.
Greed is good. When Gordon Gekko says greed is good, I think most people misunderstand what he's saying. They're seeing it as one of those evils or something like that. I think he's saying, I understand why people buy shit. Absolutely. Ryan, have you read any of my books?
I have not.
I'll tell you what, send me a text, text my email, 619. I'll send you some free ones.
Cool.
619-206-5960. And I'll send you my gut sales books, which is about question-based. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. What just happened, by the way, through social media? What just happened? What magic little thing just happened?
Reciprocity?
You know, somehow by putting out compelling information over YouTube and Zoom, new people came in. Okay, I made a new friend, maybe. He's going to read my books. Maybe he'll give it to somebody else who will call me up. Maybe something good will happen from that. This is what attraction marketing is all about. Can I take this recording that we made today and take out some of the segments and put them on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or other places? And someone says, hey, that crazy guy, I like that shit. I like his stuff. Maybe he's got something there. Is this the kind of marketing that we'll talk about maybe next time? And this is what it's all about. Anybody last question before I go? We went 19 minutes over here. It's sales. Can we talk forever about sales? It's never a dull moment. It's such a fun skill to learn how to interact with people, get them emotionally involved, get them to say yes, or get off the phone and still feel like a good person. Anybody ever get off a sales phone call and felt like shit? Felt depressed?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever do that free consulting? And that person says at the end, I'll think about it. I did a video on YouTube, by the way. I think it's on today. It's on YouTube Shorts. I'll think about it. What do you say to somebody, Ryan? Hey, Ryan, this sounds good, but before I spend $1 million of my retirement fund, I'm going to think about it, buddy. But thanks for lunch. Thanks for 2 hours of conversation and information. You're a great guy. I'll think about it. I'll call you in the near distant future.
I always get them to commit. Say, I need to hear from you by Friday at 4 o'clock or the deal's off.
Wow, that's a little assertive though, isn't it? I love assertiveness. Don't get me wrong. I love that. How do you change it so it's a little bit more scarcity? Have you ever read Cialdini?
No.
Robert Cialdini, Cialdini. Robert Cialdini said basically there are 6, 7, I think there's even more reasons why people buy stuff. And I think the most important one is scarcity. And you might go to that person, sir, you know what? You can think about it all you want. Really, sir, you're not allowed to think about it because this stuff is going to be gone. You came to me, you were looking for a secure investment with X amount of return. And can I tell you the truth, sir, before I leave?
Sure.
You know, by the time you're, you know, this is going to be gone. So there's no thinking about it at this point, sir. It's going to be gone. My other investors are going to pick it up. Are you sure this is what you want to do before I get off the phone? Because I have a feeling you're going to have regrets because you're going to call, we're going to talk again, and I'm going to tell you it's gone. Why do you think so many people are interested in this investment? Take a guess.
It has a great rate of return.
It's great return. It's a history. The company is seasoned. It's secure. It's got some of the top people from other successful industries in it. Are you sure this is what you want to do? Because once I get off the phone, I'm not going to bother you and call you 10 times.
It helps to also, before you get to that point, is get them to disclose what their other alternatives that they may have thought about. And then bring them around and get them to, and ask them the questions of, so which do you think is the sort of the most secure and safe deal? And if you fit into that segment, then I think you got them. So then I would put the urgency clause on them.
Oh, sure. You know, the trouble, this is so subjective. We talk about the science and Cialdini and scarcity and reciprocity and social proof and what Brian, I like what Ryan was just using, authority. I love authority. Sometimes you've got to draw a line in the sand. You know, when people tell me they want to think about it, Tim, go ahead. Let's do that quick role play.
I want to think about it, Claude.
You're not allowed to, sir. You just wait. You just wait for the response.
What do you mean I'm not allowed to think about it?
That they always say that. Okay. And sometimes they're mad. The thing about it is you've lost, when the guy says, I'll think about it, what does that really mean?
No.
Oh, it's over. You've got to take a shot at it. So you might as well use a little authority. You're not allowed to think about it, sir. It always gets an emotional reaction. Some people get pissed off at me. It's okay. At least I still got them on the phone and maybe I can fix it. Sir, when people tell me they want to think about it, they really mean no. And I don't want you to buy. Listen, why don't we just say it's over? Is that okay? If you can't say it, I'll say it. Is it over? It's over, isn't it, sir?
Yeah, it's over.
Great. Let me take off my salesman hat. Now that it's over, you came to me with a problem. You said your bank account's giving you like 0.5%. You called me up. I gave you something that's going to make you 5.5 to 6% guaranteed over 5 years. And why aren't we? Let me ask you this. Why aren't we doing business today? What's the real problem here? Help me out.
I want 12%.
Can't get it. Nobody can. Well, yes, you can, sir. You want me to tell you the truth or lie to you?
Truth?
The truth is, there's some people who promise you 12%, but you'll lose all your money. You might as well go to Vegas with your wife and have a good time if you're going to lose money. See a couple shows. Go to the buffet. Do you really want to put your money in 12%? That I can guarantee you is an unbelievably bad risky investment. Or would you rather have something that has a history, while it's not guaranteed, it has a history of performance and stability in solid American companies and international? That isn't what you're looking for, is it, sir? Security and a reasonable return, or do you want to just lose your life savings? You pick.
Oh, it's not a very good choice. I want security and a reasonable rate.
Okay. Can I promise you won't get mad at me what I'm going to say next?
Yeah, I won't get mad.
You're not allowed to think about it. I've made a decision. We're going to do business today. I'm going to put you in something secure. I'm going to give you my personal phone number. So if you ever have questions, you can call me, and I'm going to protect you and your family. I refuse to let you invest in something where your family's financial stability is at risk. I refuse. So you can either hang up on me or we can go forward and do something really positive today. You pick.
I,
Tell me this isn't great shit.
Good stuff.
yeah, I don't know if I want to end it or not, but I mean, I'm in a, like it's either over or I'm going forward with you. That's one.
Have we, and you're a great role play student. Thank you. Did we create an emotional moment just now?
Sure.
Wasn't that a moment? You know, what are the best movies we love? The moments, right? When E.T.'s going back on the spaceship and the music's crescendoing and the little boy is crying and everything like, and the dog goes up the thing into the spaceship and turns, you know, those moments. It's like Ravel's Bolero. Why do people love that really boring tune? It's over and over again because it builds up to a crescendo. Sometimes do you have to use the nuclear solution? You're going to lose them anyway, right?
Right.
Did you hear the one part? I've made a decision. That's one of my secrets of the GUTS sales method. What happens, Ryan? Can you imagine saying that to one of your customers or prospects? Sir, I've made a decision for you.
I don't say it that nicely, put it that way.
Sometimes you need to shock the senses to awaken them. They go into this automatic, the same, you know, this somnambulistic, that's a $10 word meaning sleepwalking, in a state where they just automatically answer things. They're really not as my new friend Brian Kerr said before, they're really not listening, or you're not listening. You're not allowed to think about it. You want me to tell you the truth or lie to you? You know what, Brian? I've made a decision. The salesman telling the customer he has made the buying decision. Okay, these are moves because you're going to lose the sale anyway, or they're sleepwalking. At least they'll remember you when they get off the phone, right? At least they'll remember you. Oh, we got some, let's see, small couple texts here. From Michael. Hey, Claude, great to see you. Small details count. Sean Osby. Yay, Sean, my friend from Omaha. Greetings from the Midwest. It's great. Where do I, BAWPLI, where do I sign Claude? Tell you what, just, I answer my own phone. I do something very crazy. I tell people, call me, talk to me, see how you feel about my methods. They're not for everybody. They're very direct, very honest, but very direct. 619-206-5960. And I love teaching people what changed my life. Sales made the big difference. I used to think that it was always about product knowledge, which is important. I'm not disdaining that. But I met people so much smarter than me in business, so much smarter. They can do all the numbers and everything in their head, okay? But they didn't necessarily make the big commissions. They didn't make the big sales, the money. I've met people who have spent thousands of dollars on marketing and have tons of leads, but they can't close those leads. The third tier that gets you to the bank is understanding human behavior, having a system of sales, the science and the art, and practicing it enough so that you know how to control the environment and make that person like and trust you. That's kind of my mission in life here. That's really what changed for me, because before I was doing all the research, all the study and reading, and then I was knocking on a lot of doors. We all hear the numbers game thing. But then people would say, I'll think about it, send me information, and they'd go on the witness protection program all the time. Yeah, you guys ever have that experience?
Sure.
Yeah. How do we make it so memorable? So even if they get mad at you, they're still thinking about you when they get off the phone. Is that the magic moment? Do you ever have something in your head, like a bad tune, and it's over and over again? Can you imagine in sales if we could do something like that? Where we could get somebody and they say, wow, that guy is crazy. That guy is nuts. That guy, wow, a lot of information. Oh, wow, maybe he's got something there. I never heard that before. Maybe I ought to go to his webpage. Maybe I need to call him. Can you put something in their head, like a bad tune that just plays over and over again? So that prospect says, wow, Ryan, that Ryan Nocera, there's something about him. I like him. Where's his phone number? Where is he? I got to call him back. You ever get that, Ryan?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Tim, you ever get that where they say, Ryan, Tim, I saw your webpage. I spoke with you. I heard you on YouTube the other day, and man, you've been stuck in my head here. It's almost a form of hypnosis, isn't it?
I get it every once in a while, but I haven't been doing a lot of outbound, like the post that you're making yet. I've only started that recently.
I have a book on my shelf here. I should go run and get, and it gave me an idea. Is it ethical? For a guy who's going over 30 minutes over here. What's that? The hypnotic selling. It's in the bathroom, of course. All my good books are in the bathroom, by the way. I'm the only one, right? Is it? Let me ask you this. Do you think hypnosis has a negative connotation to many people? All we know about hypnosis is people are turning into chickens on the stage. But what really is, when I say the word hypnosis to you, what comes to your mind?
The guy on stage making people.
Yeah. And that's the stage hypnosis. But really, hypnosis is the power of suggestion. How many people here?
Embedding the suggestion.
Say again, Brian, please.
Embedding the suggestion.
I like that. Thank you. Embedding a suggestion. How many people here, besides me, are so? I'm going to share with you guys a secret. I don't reveal this. This is a real secret of me personally. I'm the easiest person in the world to sell. The easiest. But nobody knows how to sell me because they give me the blah, 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 the square footage, the nuances, and all this. I am so easy to sell. All you've got to do is put a picture in my mind. Okay. A suggestion. Okay. My wife, I'll go to our daily conversation. I'll say, honey, what are we going to have for dinner tonight? Okay. Because I'm a OMAD guy. I'm a 1 meal a day guy. Okay. That's how I keep my nice girlish figure. I sound like Dylan, what's his name from Bud Light.
Oh God.
Oh, poor Budweiser. I'm at the point where I feel sorry for Budweiser. I'm sorry. Yeah. No, it's another one. Okay, it's also a black and gray book. It's there in there. It's not called Hypnotic Selling, but it's a black and gray book on it. The power of suggestion, embedding an idea in someone's head. So my wife will go to me, I'll say, what do we want for dinner tonight? She says, how about grilled cheese? And I think to myself, oh my gosh, she gets this really good bread and she toasts the bread and she might get a really good cheese melting on it, maybe a strip or two of bacon and some lettuce and tomato, and you bite into it and it's hot and it's creamy and everything. What's in everybody's mind right now? Food. Is anybody? Okay.
All I have to do is say, you want tacos? Sold.
Sold. When you bite into, that's it.
I don't know what you all are doing, but he is now 35 minutes over time and he's not stopping. So you're doing something right.
I'm having beer with the boys and girls today.
But wait, you want your beer?
No, it's too early. What time is it here? It's 11:35 in the Soviet Socialist state of Southern California. Good book. Okay, by Donald Moyne and Kenneth Lloyd, Unlimited Selling Power. How to Master Hypnotic Selling Skill. One of my favorites. A little long, a little redundant. What most of these sales books that I read, they're usually academic books. That's why, in my book, the books I wrote, this is like a shame. My two really best-selling books, The Mentor Teaches Success, The Mentor Teaches the Gut Sales Method on Amazon and eBay and my webpage. Those books are novels. I think a story about a person, a fictional character, me, is easier to read and get through quickly than a book that always has dog ears or bookmarks in it. A good book, though, about suggesting, how do you put an idea or suggestion in someone's head? Like I just did with grilled cheese. Food is easy. So if we're selling stocks, bonds, insurance, real estate, how do we put that emotional trigger in their head? How do we do that? Should we do that? Is it ethical? Let's start with ethics here. I'm a recovering attorney. Let's talk about ethics. Is it ethical to put ideas, Brian?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. How about you, Brian?
I definitely think so. And just one little anecdote is I had a PC clone company in my past, and we dominated the wholesale membership clubs. So Price Club and Costco and Sam's. And we were selling great. And then we got the brilliant idea of putting people on the floor in a warehouse club just to sort of answer questions. And my entire sales training of these little geeks that I had in there, because I didn't want to teach them computers, is that the product is the absolute best value in the entire market. And it was. And if you don't like it, bring it back and they'll give you 100% of your money back. No questions asked.
Yeah.
And I forced them to say that to people before they ever answered any tech questions on stuff. And sales tripled overnight.
Yeah. The guarantee.
Just embedded. I took all the risk away and just embedded that perspective. And then the rest of it was just all, geeking out and having fun.
Yeah. Can you put it into a story? Storytelling is basically, if you still tell stories like Brian just did, and you tell it in such a way. That's why I like to do business novels rather than academic books. I have some academic books I've written on real estate and sales and stuff, but I love my business novels because I think we retain stories better than an academic intellectual book. Who remembers all those books from high school and junior high school and all those things we studied? Who remembers some of those? But we remember certain moments or certain stories. Or do we always remember the good teachers and the horrible teachers?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
One of our discussions at my Monday group call, I believe, was, does everybody remember their kindergarten teacher? Mrs. Green. I love that woman. She gave me milk and cookies and told me to take naps in the middle of the day. How do you, great person. The thing is, we remember certain things. Are we responsible for creating the environment, putting the suggestions in people's heads? And how do we, and if we can do it in a story form, and if we can use the right adjectives, the right verbs, right nouns, so that it retains. I had one customer once. This is a quick story. We were talking and we were on Zoom, and behind him was a collection of baseball hats or of caps. He loved his caps and everything. And I saw all these caps, but I didn't see a red one up there. Blue, black, gray, all of it. And I said to him, let me give you he was asking me a lot of questions about the topic we're talking about. This is GUTS 6.0, by the way, hypnotic selling. And I said, he said, Claude, can you give me an example? And I said, I'll tell you what, you collect caps, right? Baseball caps and stuff. He said, yeah. I said, you're going to go out. He lived in San Francisco. I said, you're going to go out today, right? He says, yeah, I have to go out shopping and pick up my girlfriend and stuff. I said, you're going to see a red cap today. You're going to see maybe more than one red cap. So I want you to make sure that he calls me back the next day. Claude, would you turn it off? All I'm seeing is red caps all over San Francisco, all over the place. It's like I'm looking. I put that command in his head. Real simple thing, just talking about it. And I told him, wherever you go, you're going to see red caps today. And that he called me back. He said, can I turn this off now? Did you ever have a song in your head that you kept finding yourself whistling or humming it and you couldn't shut it off?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Claude, you're using nostalgia, TV, social stuff, movies, music, kinds of things in your discussions that I've been on. And I enjoy it, but it keeps my attention through what the learning process is.
Thank you. That was very nice of you to say. Brian, you said you're a sales trainer. Give yourself a plug here.
I'm not a sales trainer. In fact, I don't perceive myself to be a very good salesperson. I have had my own sales teams, and I have trained them because I'm a heavy left brain analytic type. All right. And so when I go out to sell, I'm more like a sniper than I am a shotgun.
Okay.
I study the crap out of the target. And my objective is when I go in and sit down with them, I have to know their business at least as well as they know it, if not maybe a little better. And I'm looking for where their pain is. And then I can.
How do you find when you look for their pain? I love that word. Needs, greeds, pain, desires, greed, whatever. How do you pull that out of them? You ask them.
You ask them.
Or-
One of
or
my
you push
anecdotes
them-
I tell.
Go ahead.
One of my is that a software company I was heading up sales and marketing for. We had this little client was called PG&E, and we were at the nuclear power plant on the coast in Northern California, and they had a problem. And I'd figured out for the most part what their problem was, and we definitely had a solution for it. But we got in there, and it wasn't just one person; it was a 4-panel sort of kind of stuff. And I won't get some of the funny stuff, but basically, they had a problem that was so bad that they didn't have a solution at all. And so the whole thing was to spend just enough time to get them chatting between each other on what was most important to get resolved today. And once they did that, man, it just opened up. And of course, like I said, we had a solution for them that they didn't know anything about, but it was once they start talking about it's like talking to an old person, I mean, they'll start telling you about their doctor visits and, their pains and aches and all that kind of stuff.
Sounds like me. It's, if you can, one of the techniques I use to get what Brian was just talking about is going in the opposite direction. Reverse psychology simply said, I call it a redirection. I have a legal background, so you redirecting, cross-examining somebody. And you want to go in the opposite expected direction. I think we did a little earlier today, didn't we, Tim? A little redirection.
We did.
And so Tim, you even if you found a solution that met with your budget and it was timely, so it could solve the problem, that's not something you want to act on. Really, that's a little too fast, right?
No, we need a solution today.
Boom. What just happened? I mean, it's so short, but it's so powerful because the amateur salesperson, I call the other 99% amateur salespeople because they are so predictable. We're unpredictable selling. And they'll say, oh, yes, well, we can do that for you. And they'll just go positive, go along to get along. I train my people to go and to relax and to go in the opposite direction to get the prospect to swing just the swing in the other way. And you just got a commitment and maybe even a potential close by going in. If you want a positive answer, you go negative or ask a negative open-ended question. If you want a negative answer, I get people say, well, Claude, what's the difference between you? And there's so many sales trainers and Anthony Robbins and everybody else like that. And I'll go very positive. I'll say, well, they're good people. And everything. When you called up Anthony Robbins, I've read his books too. I love Awaken the Giant Within and everything. And I'm sure he would talk to you personally. You must have called him up, right, Tim?
Oh yeah, no, I can't get past the gatekeeper.
It's a common problem. When you called me up or you came on Zoom today, who did you get?
You.
I don't know if that's important to you.
Yeah, it is.
Boom. Who's closing who now? This is $1 million selling, guys. This is the one. I got one more question here from Bob Lee. He says, use hypnotic language patterns to create a sense of urgency and excitement in your customers. Someone else said, best regards from Slovakia. Hey, neat. You trained me very well, Claude. I can't thank you enough. That's Michael Buckles in Atlanta. Thank you, Michael. What is a hypnotic word? You guys take a guess. I know there is one word that I use constantly when I'm closing people and using hypnotic selling, GUTS 6.0. Do you know what that? I think, Tim, you know that word. Anybody
Pretty
else
sure.
want to take a shot at it? Abigail, Brian, Ryan, what's that one word that hypnotically puts somebody in a subconscious state where they're receiving, it's going right to the hard drive to stay there permanently and stay there and come back out a couple times during the day? What's that one word? It's a powerful word. It's $1 million word. Can you imagine if you had a word like that? What would it do? What would it do?
Imagine.
See, I was too easy, right? What happens when we preface a story or a statement with the word imagine? What happens?
I imagine.
Get you thinking.
It's you thinking.
It gives
Yes.
me picturing.
Imagine we had, what's your favorite food, Ryan? What do you love to eat? What's your
Steak.
favorite?
Ribeye.
Oh, a ribeye steak with the bone in?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, how thick? Half inch, 2 inches?
Have either of those, any of those will do.
Nice big, I love steak. Oh, there's just something so satisfying on it. A little salt and pepper, a little butter on it, on a hot grill. What's that smell like? Is there anything, I mean, for my carnivores, I apologize to the vegans in the room. Okay, well, what's that smell like, Ryan? When it goes on the hot grill and you walk into a room and that steak is grilling with the onions and mushrooms and the butter melting. What's that like?
It's beautiful.
What are you having for dinner tonight?
Bluegrass
Claude,
is right over the bridge right here. I've got
How
Claude,
does-
what you were doing right there, though, is that you were embellishing the imagine. All right.
me
And-
embellish?
yeah, and there's times where what I want to do is to get them to embellish what they're imagining, because I may not be able to know what they're thinking. And if I can get them to expound on what that steak is, or the restaurant that Ryan loves to go to, or where it is, that really, really anchors it as far as I can tell.
Yeah. The thing about it is we get a lot of people who are not communicatives. Is anybody here in sales and business or day-to-day met the yes, no, person? Mm-hmm. Has anyone here ever gone on a blind date with the person? Or the person who's texting under the table, but or whatever. I just say I had my 37th wedding anniversary, so I have to be very careful with this topic. But but seriously, sometimes we have to embellish or use those words like imagine to get them, to pull them out, to get them involved, to get them talking to us. Because if they're just sitting there doing, yep, okay, maybe. Monosyllabic answers, is that the terminology? The hardest, they're like a piece of stone there. How do you get them to react and get emotionally involved so that you can find out what their trigger points are? This is good shit. This is good. These are good topics. It's like this is like having one potato chip. I can't stop. You had me at steak, Ryan.
There
You
you
had
go.
me at what? I'll ask you a question. Kind of ribeye steaks. They used to be really dirt cheap. When all of a sudden you go into Costco, 3 ribeye steaks now can be $80 to $110. Have you seen that? Have you gone into a Costco lately and seen what ribeyes go for?
I went to a steakhouse. It was 50 ribeye, like you said, was cheaper. It was like the cheaper cut, and it was $50 for the ribeye, like a couple weeks ago. Yeah,
I think a ribeye and Ruth Chris, my favorite steakhouse. I think they're about $75, $80 or more.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, easy. Can you go into a steakhouse anymore and order 1 or 2 drinks? You got to have a glass of wine or a martini. You got to have a martini before the meal, then the appetizers, the giant shrimp cocktail, the salad, and then the beautiful steak and everything. That's got to be $250, $300, right?
I was at a
I'd
local
have to
steakhouse.
I'd have to bring
It
a
was
blanket and a
200.
pillow, because I'd be asleep on the floor if I ate that much.
Welcome to Carnivore Cooking with Claude and Ryan. It's use it seriously. Food is easy. Why do you think? For those of you, I love YouTube. If you notice on YouTube, the people who have the highest amount of hits, visitors, views, a lot of food channels. I mean, some of these people, they'll do a video and within 24 hours, they'll have a couple 100,000 hits. Do you ever think about, what does that say about their marketing and the attraction of the marketing and people who subscribe and go to their webpage and buy their t-shirts and caps and their books and things like that? Why do food people attract so many views?
Because everybody eats.
Because everybody eats. Well said. Food is emotional. Now, can we take that same passion for food and all those descriptive satiary, is that a word, satiary? I think it is. When you bite into it, and the steak, man, it's a little red in the middle, it's crunchy on the outside, and you bite into it, and it's so good, and it's melting in your mouth. And can we do the same thing on a product or service? Can we put that same emotion? That Brian's word, embellishment. Can we put that into real estate or stocks or bonds or something? How do we do that if we can?
Part of it is, if you understand what their pain is you get them to start imagining what not having that pain would be like. The emotional stress, the anxieties, the concern about their work environment, the going home after work and being able to just relax. All those things, you can bring all those kinds of emotional feels into their day once they've selected your solution and they've moved ahead.
But Brian, you're living in your mother-in-law's attic with your girlfriend and your 5 chihuahuas, and the rent is it's almost free, I think you said. That's a great deal, man. I know you don't have any privacy or any room, and it gets a little cramped with the doggies running around. Why don't you just stay there, man?
Well, there's a lot of emotional entanglements in that environment.
You see what you can do when you do the redirection kind of selling, and you embellish it or use that that hypnotic suggestion in there, because then you say, no, that's exactly why I want to get out. You help them along a little, and then you go into your imagine phase. I say, imagine you, and you got your privacy, and it's your place, and your friends come over, and you say, this is my house. How would that make you feel? Owning something that you worked hard for, you paid for off the sweat off your own brow. The dogs have the backyard. You got a barbecue with that great ribeye out there cooking. Thanksgiving, the family's there, the smells from the kitchen, the fireplace on a cold April morning. Going there, you're snuggling with your significant other with a comforter in front of that fireplace on the beanbag. I don't know if that isn't what you're looking for, is it? That's gut selling. Hey, I gotta go. We went way overboard here today. I tend to do that. I love talking about sales. My name is Claude Diamond. Thank you, all of you, for joining, and you're posting your questions on YouTube and on Zoom and everything. And you guys, as I always end all my productions, I always say nobody deserves success more than you good people. So good selling and success to all of you, and good health. Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, Claude. Thanks for having us.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.